Yes, a beautiful morning. Thank you so much for being part of this sports show. My name is Brian, and we are going to be looking at a few things that are making the news as well as the headlines on the international scene as well as the local scene here. And of course, I have to remind you that yes, it's great news to see that we are going to be returning back to Mandela National Stadium, Nambole. And this week alone, I'm going to be telling you about exactly what transpired in FUFA. They came out and confirmed the tickets and as well as everything to do with that game that is going to be played here in Uganda and all the other games, the qualifiers for the World Cup that are going to be coming up there. And of course, a little bit of the transfer speculation, one or two. And then there's also good news coming in from Uganda's preparation for that interesting African Cup of Nations 2027. We look like we are getting set slowly by slowly. Last week, like I told you, it was the construction of a training ground all the way in Chambogo that is supposed to be catering from some of the teams that are going to be coming in Uganda here. You remember a lot of teams are going to be coming here. Over 9 teams might be in the country for that tournament in 2027, but we need training grounds in the different parts of the country. You remember that we have 3 stadiums that have been earmarked to be constructed, which include the Kibua Stadium, which also include that is at the Hoima City Stadium and the Mandela National Stadium. A lot of people have been having questions and, of course, queries of the progress of the stadiums. I'm just going to be giving you an update that has been, of course, given to us this week as well, to give you at least comfort and also to release a little bit of the pressure that has been on everyone's mind, because a lot of people have been questioning whether this tournament will be hosted in Uganda. And of course, in some of the platforms that we usually share this information, some people are coming out and saying that maybe Uganda might be cancelled and then we'll have Rwanda coming in. All that and so much more, I'll be coming in, of course, to make you a little bit relaxed and tell you the progress might be a little bit slow, but it's all meant to be, to streamline everything in the way it's supposed to be streamlined. Because even if we rush into doing something and we are not sure of the repercussions of our rushing, if you're going to do something that will stay for so many years, we rather get late in preparation. But when we begin the construction and all the other processes, we know that everything that we've done in the pre-preparation is being to make the process a little bit smooth. So that is what I should tell you, and I should also at least I should. The reason why I'm saying this is to give you comfort that everything is working well and the government is doing all that is supposed to be done to see that this, tournament is a success. Okay, before I go there, let me begin, of course, on the local scene. Of course, on the weekend as well, we have the UEFA Champions League final that is going to be on today. So I'm going to be looking at that final. Yes, and give you my prediction as well with the two teams that are going to be playing. But let me begin, of course, on the local scene. One of the few stories that made it this week is the story that is coming in from FUFA. You remember that the national team is already in camp. They're already summoned to camp, and a lot of players arrived to camp to really prepare for the upcoming games. And of course, the game I think they're going to be playing. One of them is against Botswana, and then the other one is going to be against Algeria. That is on the 7th as well as the 10th. And already the players I gave you the list of the players that were summoned to this national team. There've been a few changes here and there, but not so many big changes. And Paul Put, as the manager for the national team for Uganda, him and Sam Simba are really working hands in hands with a lot of the scouts that have been abroad, seeing the players that have been playing in the different leagues. And you'll notice that you'll see a few of the different faces in there, but it's all to make the national team a little bit more stronger, a little bit more better, and also perform to the standards that we really want our team to be. Because you remember that Uganda as a nation has a very good history when it comes to the African Cup of Nations, but we've not made our mark on the the level of the World Cup, we've not qualified for any of the editions that have been there ever since this tournament began. So we are looking forward to seeing that we really make a mark this time round. The preparation to me is every year that goes or passes by, every tournament that we get into, we look more professional, we look more organized than we were before. Before we were looking at things like wages, we are fighting issues to do with who is being called and who's not being called, and we were looking at malice, we are looking at favoritism and all that stuff. But I believe that as time goes by, these things are eroding day by day. Now, people are judged according to statistics. People are judged according to the way they've been performing. And to me, that is not only to do with credit being given to FIFA, but also the modern games and the demands that comes with the modern game have led us to this. I won't mention names here and there, but I can say that you can tell from the different selections, you will see that they want to bring something to the team, and I believe that we will see a little bit of the change. We might not 100%, at least for the local game, for the local game that we're going to be having in Nambole, we might see something new, and the excitement, of course, coming in with football returning to the stadium. We might see a game that against Botswana or against that is Algeria. We might see some of the best games that the Cranes have played because the excitement is there. We know the crowds are going to be coming in big numbers because I know Ugandans really love something new. They love something different, and with the way Nambole is looking, with the adjustments that have been done, like I told you, the ticketing system has already been almost completed, and I got to know that it has been already, it has been given. The UPDF engineering brigade that worked on the stadium have already handed over to that is that the people that are managing the system in Nambole, all the stadium management. So that means that all the issues that you got in the previous the testing games, you remember a lot of people had issues with their tickets. Some of them, because just like FIFA came out and confirmed that the tickets were, some of them were supposed to be printed, and I know where because when we got an explanation from the Indian Brigade, the UPDF team, they came out and confirmed that they gave barcodes to FIFA, and FIFA printed out, and there was nothing like direction of where you're going to go. So people decided to use the tickets on every gate that they had access to, and that is not right in any way, because even in the new guidelines that FIFA has been giving us is that they've really changed the color system of the tickets to show that if you're going to this gate, you need to pass here for the system to really at least not reject your ticket, or for you not to have issues, and also to know exactly where and how much people or how much traffic is going to be using what gate. Because I got to know that the blue tickets, for example, are going to be using the northern gate. You're going to see the map, and in fact that map is showing exactly where you're supposed to be parked, at least passing. Blue tickets for the northern gate, yellow tickets for the eastern gate, pink tickets for the southern gate, white tickets for the western gate, and black tickets as well for the western gate. And for the media, it's going to be yellow tickets, that is the eastern gate, as well as the invitation, that is for white, that is the western gate. So that is how you're going to be accessing the stadium, and let's keep at least let's keep the discipline, because if we don't do that, then we will be setting a bad precedent, especially to the people like CAF and all the other bodies that run the game, even FIFA, because this is a FIFA certified game. So we need to be very organized. We need to show that with the things that have been happening, especially on the local scene, we are always, of course, ready for any challenge that are coming our way, because we also need to show that these match days are things that we've prepared for all these months. I don't want us to look like we are surprised by the turn up and all the other things that are going to be happening in the game. But all in all, it is really good news coming in from there. And of course, FIFA looking like they're in charge. We expect the games to be on, like I told you, the first game against Botswana, which is going to be on the 7th, is going to be on, it's going to be 7 p.m. So we need to be a little bit there early for you to really access the stadium without any ease. And of course, the few things that I want the government to work on is the security, especially after the games. You remember we had a few people having issues with the insecurity as well in the country, is something that is under question. A lot of people fear to go for these late games because they know their property will be stolen, they'll be beaten or stuff like that because of what happens, especially after the games. So as people transit from the stadia going all the way to places like Chireka, where they might be getting transportation or getting out of those gates moving to Weyogere, there are always issues with people who really stop them, take their stuff, and beat them up. That is something that the government, especially police, need to work on. They need to install discipline, especially outside that stadium, and the lighting system as well around the stadium to really remove black spots that might lead to people being attacked in one way or another. Then on the other side also, I also want to see that you as well, the individual that is coming for these games, you need to be 100% prepared. Do not come with things that you think are valuable to you. People come with very expensive phones. Yes, you want to take the pictures, you want to take the selfies, which is okay. But exposing yourself, especially with expensive stuff on you, if you're not going to be a media guy, why would you come with a big camera that really will lead people to start tracking you down? If you're not going to have a car, or if you don't have a car with you that is in the parking system, why do you come with expensive stuff? Why do you come with your laptop? Why do you come with your valuables that really will attract people to come to you? So we need to be a little bit also cautious, and we need also to be the starting point for any security measure that we need to really apply, especially in these games. And I think that is the way we can curb the crime that really happens. It's not entirely a problem for FUFA, but I think it's a problem. It's a two-way thing. I think government needs to do a little bit more. They need to install not only around the stadium, but even in the ways up to, for example, the access roads and the access centers for people who are moving from the stadium. We know that people walk all the way to Chireka, people walk all the way to Weyogere, or the other side, the Joker's side. So we need to find a way of protecting all these people for them to really count the experience as success. Because if you don't do that, then the record will be that people were attacked. You'll have people from Botswana coming to watch the games. We need to give them ample security for them to enjoy the game as well, because that will happen to us when we go to these stadiums abroad. So that is something that I think we need to also work on too. Okay, time is not my best ally, so I need to rush into one or two stories. Then I go, of course, for a simple break. When I come back, I'll be looking at, of course, the stories on the international scene, and of course, in preparation for the joint 2027 African Cup of Nations, Uganda will co-host. You remember that those games with Kenya as well as Tanzania, and we've had a lot of talk about new stadiums that have been earmarked to be constructed. Hoima Stadium being one of them. Already news has come to our table that yes, like we said, government, you remember, like we told you, we are already in negotiations with Suma, and negotiations have been very successful. And the bold statement this week is that they've received the 34 acres of land, the land title. In fact, it's 34.9 acres of land. The land title from FUFA has been handed over to government officials, and of course, that land was courtesy of the 10 acres of land that were given in by the family of the late Dr. James Christopher Rujumba, and also the 10 acres that were procured by FUFA in the first instance, and then of course another 14.9 acres of course were also added on when Uganda won the Afcon. That is a bid. So that is a total of 34.9 acres, which is ample land, which is ample size for us to really construct a state-of-art stadium, because of course the requirements were to have good land, to have a facility that has everything in there. It is going to be we had like it's going to be a 25,000 seater or 30,000 seater. We'll be confirming that, but of course on Thursday 30th of May, a delegation of course, handed over these, land titles, courtesy of Mr. Ingia Moses Magogo, and all the documentation. And it has been confirmed that now, according to news coming in from there, government is all set, and of course, the constructor is also being handed over the land, and it's going to be 100%, progress. It's going to be starting anytime from now. In fact, I got to know that with what I got to know is that it is going to be on the cost. I think they said in something like 3 weeks. Yes, we are going to start seeing progress in 3 weeks, because already government has released over 152 billion Uganda shillings. That is 30% of part of the money that will help in the construction of the stadium. And we know that the stadium is going to be commissioned, and the construction is going to be commencing anytime now. So we expect the success in one or another. And one thing that I really want us to really look at, I really want us to look at is the things that really are supposed to be in this stadium. One of the things that I really wanted to see, I wanted to see a covered kind of stand stadium. I wanted to see a modern system, LED system that shows adverts and all that stuff. There are things I want to see in this stadium that I really believe that government can really implement in this stadium. And I really understand when people, of course, a lot of people have their worries, and also they have their questions on what to expect, especially with the way things are happening in there. But it's all well, and I believe that FUFA really doing the right thing. They are doing everything to see that this tournament is a success. I also know that government as well, through Mr. Peter Ogwang, the State Minister for Sports, I believe that he's also being working hands in hands with everyone who is in charge of exactly what is supposed to be done. My only worry would be, of course, the time that is supposed to be worked on, of course, a few months to the deadline, because the deadline is going to be December 25th. December might not give you the actual date, the actual like date, but it's going to be December next year. That is when the deadline is going to be on. So we need to work at least knowing that we are going to be beating the deadline, which I think will be done, because now these contractors, you really work day and night. So to me, that is where the advantage is, because they don't only work during the day, they work day and night. So that means that if they are given 22 months or 20 months, then it will be double the efforts, double the energy. That is why the process has been a little bit slow, because everything needed to be it needed to be in sync. Everything needed to be in place. And when they start constructing the stadium, there is nothing like slowing down. There's nothing like we didn't go through this until we have the permits are not there, all that stuff. Because I even got to know that already on this handover, the handover as well included the mayor of the Hoima city, Brian Kaboyo. Of course, he was part of the delegation doing the handshakes and all that stuff. But it's a confirmation that already even the city council itself is already set for this construction. The stadium is something like 3 or 4 kilometers away from the main city center, and of course you'll see the area around it. When you look at the Bomber Grounds is in the center. I heard that it's also going to be improved to a modern training facility. It is in the center of city. So when you see the distance between the Bomber Ground as well as the main city, and then where the stadium is going to be constructed, you'll see that it's not a very lengthy distance in there. In fact, if you're passing the end of Mparo Road, the Masindi Road as well, you kind of like branch off somewhere there, and then you can access the stadium. It's not very far away. So the roads are very impressive. The business center is booming. So there's a lot of things that you can talk about, especially if you've never been to Hoima City. It is a very, very interesting city. The business is booming, and I have to encourage people, if you're really looking for business, then you can start setting up something in there, something creative in there, for you to really wait for 2027 as an opportunity, because we know that it's going to be a friends. It's going. What did I want to use? It's going to be something interesting. You need to just tap into that opportunity, and I believe that with the way things are happening, it will be a success in there. Okay. On the local scene, of course, 1 or 2 transfers. I got to know that Wakiso Giants player, of course, Kenneth Chimera, is a target of SC Villa. So we are waiting to see this gentleman. He's already been in contract with them since 2023. So we are waiting to see what will happen. He has scored, I think, 10 goals this season round. So we are waiting to see whether he will be making that interesting move anytime from now. 10 goals, of course, in Wakiso Giants games in there. Let me go for a simple break, and I'll be back with so much more. My name is Brian. Do not go anywhere. Do not touch the dial. This is, of course, the sports. That is a weekend show.